All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Black Ribbon Warrior podcast. This is episode 26.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think when we started this we would get this far. I guess I never really thought about how far we would go with this. No? So, anyway, I am joined by my lovely bride, honey, darling, and dear.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
So, last week we talked about comfort zones and trying to get out of our comfort zone. And we did that this week.
Yeah.
Did we go to the gym? No. We did something better.
I was going to say, we still worked out. This arm is really tired.
We did something better that was more fun and way outside the melanoma comfort zone. And so I'll let you, you alluded to it last week about the outdoor adventures.
Right.
So I'll let you go ahead and talk more about that now that we've...
Well, we finally bought me, an inflatable kayak. And so our kayak came on Wednesday, and we blew it up, and we made sure everything was okay. Is it super sturdy? No. Does it do what I want it to do? Yes.
So this was what it's called is a Intech is the name brand, Challenger 2.
Yeah. I mean it's fine.
It's a good entry level.
Yeah, it's not going to go down some crazy rapids.
Right.
But that's not my plan.
Right. So we kind of got this one because it was $100.
Right.
And
I like to tiptoe in things. So I like to tiptoe and get something less expensive. Let's see how much we're going to use it, like in reality.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we decide that we really have enjoyed it, then that's probably my computer in there. I heard you.
Oh, okay.
If we figure out that we really enjoy it and we want to try to take it to other places, and it might need a more sturdy thing, then maybe we would upgrade.
Right. But it held the two of us. It's got a 400-pound capacity, so the two of us are right there. We're good. And, we floated around. I could fish off of it if needed.
I don't want you to fish with me in there. It makes me way too nervous. Yeah,
I could probably go without you, like a single person, and it'd be fine.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can go, and I can maneuver it. It's not bad. And I could actually just lay in it and just float. Like, nobody would even have to know I was in there. I could just lay there and float, and I'd be quite happy.
Yep. So we went up to the new, I guess, I don't know how long it's been open.
I'm not sure.
But every time I hear somebody talk about it, they're like the new park. So it's a new access area, water area on a like a little cut in the Lake Wiley that the power plant put up, and it's you got a little swimming area, and fishing area, and place where you can put in a raft or a tube or kayak and just kind of float around right there and there.
I like that it's small. It doesn't open up to a big space. So if you are floating and you get a little sidetracked, you can see the other side. You're not nervous. You might need to take a paddle if you're going to float like that.
Yeah. There are a lot of hiking trails around through there that we did not go on.
No,
I did a different day. I went up and did a bunch of hiking trails. But that was fun. And we went in the evening when the sun was low.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't gone.
Really sunny.
We were in between storms.
But I just wanted to get it out. It's that
Yep.
new thing. You're like, okay, it's not raining and the sun is kind of shining. And can we go? Can we go? Can we go? Can we go?
Yep. And so we got out, and I had on my, my sun shirt and bucket hat and my sun pants. So anybody, I talk about the sun pants. They are long pants that are thin, kind of like jogging pants, like the harder parachute
golf
style.
Pants. They're like,
yeah,
they're just a nice weight
But
pant that's breathable.
They're SPF 50. So I was covered all the way.
Yeah.
Probably didn't need to be, but I was got to be cautious. So yeah, that happened. Then the next day I had my CT scan.
Yeah, chest, abdomen, pelvis.
Yep. So this is for my 6-month checkup.
Which is tomorrow.
Yep, which is tomorrow. I will say that while I was in there, I wasn't getting too nervous. I was, you kind of start psyching yourself out, and scan anxiety was there. But it really didn't, I'm tired from yesterday. It really didn't sink in until I was sitting there. I was laying on the table, and they put in they check your blood, and they have to go and check and make sure your kidneys functions good. Which, I mean, hey, I've been peeing, so it's all good. But as I'm laying there and I'm looking up at the ceiling tiles, and it's painted like a sky, like clouds and all that, and it started kind of setting in a little bit, like, oh man, and I got about halfway through the Lord's Prayer, and it was gone. Could have just been my ADD, because I realized I still had my rings on. So then they had already had the table lifted way up high so it could go in the machine. So I had to crawl off of it, jump down, take my rings off, and get back on before the lady got in there. So could have been the ADD, could have been the Lord's Prayer, I don't know. But
who knows?
But got through that. Of course, they can't tell you anything from what they see. So, geezy, I am really yawning, and I took a small nap today. But so I did that, and then I was off and gone. And you got the message.
Yeah, a few hours later, I was able to check the reports.
And the reports were?
You were unremarkable.
Unremarkable.
Yeah, no new lesions, no change. So, we've been watching your heart. I've been watching your liver. Just checking into a couple things that they make comment of in other reports. Mm-hmm. And everything is stable. Everything is non-remarkable. No change in the effusion or anything like that in the heart. No change in the liver. So that's all good news.
Yep. Well, that was Thursday.
Yeah, that
was
Thursday.
The same day that we took your kayak out.
And we took it out.
Yep. So that was a busy day for us.
And then got ice cream.
Yep. And then she's like, on the way home, we were passing by this one of the, I guess, the staples in
this town.
In our town.
Yeah.
The PWs. And she's like, hey, I could really go for ice cream. And I was like, hey, whatever, we'll celebrate. So.
And I went as healthy as I can go with ice cream. I did not get hot fudge. I got fruit.
She got a peach cobbler sundae.
Right, so I had fruit in it. So there was a little bit of a nutritional basis.
And lucky for me, they had 2 flavors of sugar-free ice cream.
Yeah.
So I got 1 scoop of strawberry, sugar-free ice cream in a cup. So I didn't even have to have the cone.
Right. So see, that's a good place to go.
Yep. So
there is a new place that I want to try. It's at that new Powerhouse. They have a new ice cream shop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good ice cream shop.
Well, we're doing a lot of firsts. So,
yeah.
We tried out that new bar
We did a couple weeks ago.
Yep, and
liked it.
Yep, it was pretty nice. Then we did the kayaking.
It looks like a nice, safe bar.
Yep, and you got to
that
be.
Was nice.
You got to be cautious because it's a pay by the ounce. So
you just got to be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, you just got to be you can't be in there all, give me a picture. Because the bracelet, the bracelet cuts you off at 32 ounces.
Of any beverage.
Then you got to go and get it reset, and when you go to get it reset, they do what they call a sobriety check, and they just ask you a bunch of questions to see how alert you are, how you're speaking.
But for the most part, the questions are just conversational, so you wouldn't even really notice that they're asking you questions.
Yeah.
Because they're having conversation with you.
Yeah, like how do you like the place? Have you tried the food truck? Because they don't have a kitchen there, they have a food truck. And the food truck is tied to one of the restaurants, not even a mile away. So.
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah, it works out really nice for them.
So yeah, we did that.
So then. Trying to think, I did get the grass cut in between the rains.
You did.
Good thing, because it needs a cut again, and it just rained this morning.
Yeah. So I went to Pride. I had never gone to Pride before, so I went to Pride with a friend of ours, and her daughter, and our daughter, and we just kind of roamed around there. I did that on Saturday.
Yep, something different. Outside your comfort zone.
But something I think it's not outside my comfort zone because I don't appreciate it.
I guess I'd say
I just have never gone.
It's not something that we'd be like, oh, we saw it in the newspaper and we're going to go check it out.
Right. It's just not something we would have gone to, but it's not. I guess it's not a comfort zone. It doesn't have to be my comfort zone.
Well, I guess I'm using the comfort zone as loosely as like it's something outside of your norm.
Right. Like you and I just wouldn't have gone. But they asked me to go, and I said, absolutely, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big deal, let's go. And so that was kind of nice, just to get out, to celebrate something that doesn't directly impact us, but does impact us, because it is showing support for friends and loved ones. And, the freedom to have the lifestyle that is what you want. It's freedom to love who you love and to not have to say I'm sorry about it. So that was kind of nice.
What all was involved down there? I think they had like a parade and or a march parade. Or some sort.
Nope, there wasn't one this year. I know they've had pride parades in the past. There were a lot of tents and vendors. There were a lot of moms and dads who, had the free mom hug t-shirts on and just letting people know that, hey, we don't care and we love you. A lot of laughter, a lot of people smiling, a lot of people encouraging each other, celebrating each other. So, there were vendors, there were food trucks. There was a peach cobbler truck that I really should have gone to, but I didn't.
Ooh, that could have been dangerously good.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go. There was beer and wine, and the one store downtown that has done a lot of really good things for the community. They kind of, I don't know if they put it on, but they did host it in their parking lot. But just lots of tents, lots of people celebrating differences and unity and love.
Now that place you're talking about, they have 2 store locations.
Yeah.
And the one they had put out like a refrigerator out front of the store.
It's still there.
And it's called the community fridge. And you just go and put whatever extra you have or whatever you want into that fridge.
You donate it. So.
Yeah, it's all donation based.
Yeah.
And individuals who don't have anything can go to that and get food, and we've seen families
using it. We
not
donated.
Not only just donating stuff, but actual families that have come and filled up shopping bags
to take home.
and take home.
So it was nice. Here's the thing. You know, at a lot of festivals you have, this is going to sound mean, but you have people who are fussing. You have, you know, a lot of different attitudes. People like...
Usually because it's hot.
And just more aggressiveness of sorts. Like, hey, don't push me and whatever. This one, the people like making sure everybody got across the street safely, they were like dancing and they were having a good time. And they're like, hey, this is a dancing street. If you're going to cross this road, you got to dance. And they were cheerful and happy and smiling. And there was music and there, like I said, laughter. And it was high energy. And nobody was... There's one guy out telling everybody how horrible it was and how far, you know, it was against the Bible. I saw one or two of those, but nobody really paid to mind. Nobody engaged with him to create a confrontation. There was no confrontation from anything I saw, and I was walking around for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
So it was nice to be in an environment that differences were supported, people were supported and raised, and nobody was tearing anybody down, at least that I could see.
Okay.
No judgment. It was a no judgment zone, and that's nice.
Yep, that sounds good.
That's nice just to be around. So that was fun.
Yep. I stayed home and laid on the couch, and I was binge watching a show I found on HBO Max called Alaskan Killer Bigfoot. I know you're like, ooh.
I'm so glad I was not home.
Yeah, I found it very interesting. Very interesting. So, anyway, that's what I was doing. Yeah, that was my Saturday.
And then our Sunday.
Yep, Sunday was a big day.
Sunday was fun.
So we started out with our Sunday Live. My buddy's daughter had sent us a recipe to try, and the original recipe was for a crock pot that's supposed to take like 6 or 8 hours, and on our live show that we do on YouTube, we're on about an hour, little over. You know, every now and again we'll hit an hour and a half, but usually
the purpose is an hour.
Usually is an hour. So we rigged up the tripod in a Dutch oven and a burner, propane burner, and we made a pizza soup. And I cut the recipe in half, but I didn't follow it exact. Like I just kind of guesstimated at the amounts, and I think now I followed the recipe because it called for noodles. I would not have added noodles, but it's a pizza soup, and this was the first time we made it, so we followed the ingredients majority of the way. But it turned out more like a pizza goulash.
And after the day, I felt like it was just goulash, but
yeah, like the
anyway.
leftovers were definitely goulash and not soup.
Yeah,
but
and not pizza.
We probably could have added more liquid because I don't think we added the full amount of liquid that we were supposed to. But anyway,
so,
turned out like a pizza goulash, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. So we did that.
Cleaned up.
And then
sent half the leftovers or half the pot back to my buddy's house for them guys to enjoy leftovers.
And then we started on a grand adventure for Sunday.
Yep. And at first, I wasn't invited to go the first time. At first, because we had talked last week that we bought you guys tubes.
Yes, you bought me and my friend tubes.
I got you and your friend some river tubes, and they were $35 for the pair at Sam's Club. So it's not like, you know, I spent the mortgage or anything. But so she asked me like Friday. She says, "Hey, are you going with us?" Or no, you asked me on Saturday. Are you going with us Sunday? And I was like, I didn't know I was invited. She's like, "Yeah, her husband's going, and her daughter's going, and our youngest is going, so you can go." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. This is the first that I had heard that I was invited, because at first it was just going to be you two."
Yeah.
And then it branched out to you two and the girls.
Right. And then we just decided to let y'all come. Then
it just got bigger and bigger.
So we invited you.
So yeah, so I was like, well, all right. And at first I was leaning, I was probably 45% going, 55% not.
Mm-hmm.
And as it got closer, I was like, damn it, get out of that comfort zone. Get out there, try it. Try it. You don't know what you're going to miss until you try it. So I went up, I put on my long pants, the SPF 50 pants. And
a shirt with a hood.
Yep, I put on one of my sun shirts that had a hood. I wore a do-rag, just to kind of help with sweat. And I had my bucket hat.
And your gloves.
I brought a pair of gloves. So, other than my cheeks and my toes, I was covered.
Yeah. And you did let me put sunscreen on.
Yep, because I was like, man, there's...
Your face.
Yep, so she put some on my cheeks and on my feet. Because
friend has decided...
I had sandals on. I had flip-flops on.
She was monitoring your toes.
Not flip-flops,
you had
slides.
Just slides. Yeah.
I had slides on. And the way I was sitting in the tube, they were in the water majority of the time.
And she was monitoring. She was like, put his feet down.
Yeah, so I would lift my feet up and, when I adjusted, and they were all kind of looking, and I think they were just captivated by my sexy feet. But
no, we were really watching for sunburn. So, and the other thing she said is, we need to take one of your shirts, one that has a stain or something that's going to be your river shirt, and we need to modify it so that you have a thumb hole.
Oh, yeah.
So you can put your thumb through,
so
it doesn't slide down
your
wrist.
Yep, it kept, my wrist would be exposed, and not like a whole lot.
Hey,
but
that's what it was like for women, like in the Victorian eras. Pull your sleeves down, we can see your wrist.
Yeah, so...
Pull your collar up, I could see your neck.
So at first, the act of floating down the river is not new to me.
Well,
but
getting to the float, though.
The act of doing it post melanoma is new.
And
because normally I would do it and I wouldn't think, I'd wipe down or whatever and I'd go.
First of all, when we say normally you would, you have not floated with me in 23 years.
Yes. And we talked about why. Because this is the first time that we're actually able to do something as a couple.
Right.
And not as a family.
All I was meaning was,
anytime...
normally, it was way, way ago.
Yeah, before we got together.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think twice about it before cancer.
Okay.
So, where we couldn't go as a family, because now instead of just buying tubes for you and me, now you got to have the other 3 girls.
And all the snacks and the food and the...
Each one likes different snacks. Each one likes different drinks. Each one likes this. Got to have that. So anybody with kids knows even just a simple trip to the grocery store blows your budget.
Truth.
You go to the zoo with just you and your spouse, and your cost is minimal. You take 3 kids, and now you just blew half your mortgage.
Yep.
So, given that was a big reason why we haven't done anything like this.
Right.
And for a $35 investment, and we just took drinks that we had out of the fridge, and that was all we had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything else we had. So we did good there. It was fun.
We're an interesting little crew as we're trying to get all of our floats together in the water with the stuff, with the kids and the stuff and the kids because there were a total of 3 kids there
Mm-hmm.
and 4 adults. And so we kind of tied all of our floats together so nobody got away from each other. And then the kids were like, can we just go on our own? No, you cannot. They'd still be floating.
Yeah.
Then we floated, it was supposed to take about 3 hours. It took about 2.
Yeah, about 2 hours.
Um,
We had some pretty good currents. Because of all the rain we'd had this week, the dam was letting out a little bit more than normal.
mm-hmm.
So it was pushing. So we started the Fort Mill Dam. There's a spot where you can enter, and then we had dropped off a car down at the restaurant that's on the river now, and it's like a 7-minute drive, but it's
a 2 to 3 hour float.
Yeah, 2.5 hour float. So
every time I looked at you, our floats are not tubes; they're like chairs.
yes,
Like there's a back to them, and there's a seat, and it's a mesh, so your butt's not falling through, and you can hold stuff. And
yeah, it's not the typical donut float.
no, so every time I looked at you, you had your hat pulled over your face, and your eyes were shut, and you were tied to us, so you couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and I had tried fishing. I was dragging a cork, and I had a little rubber worm on the back end of it, just floating. I mean, I wasn't actively trying because of the way I was laying. I couldn't.
And you were tied to 6 other people. That made me very nervous.
And we kept spinning, so I kept spinning around and around and around. So it was very. I mean, it was challenging. So.
Right.
But I fished about half of it, and then just put it in the cup holder.
And you just kind of laid there in your float in the water. It
Mm-hmm.
was cool. It wasn't hot.
I was hot, but I wasn't because I'm fully clothed. You're looking at other people passing us, and they're in just a pair of shorts or their bikinis.
Right.
And here I am. I got a long pants. I got a hoodie. I got my bucket hat, gloves.
There was barely any skin anywhere.
So.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Yep. I would do it again. Definitely.
Well, good, because we're doing it again in 2 weeks.
Yep. So definitely do it again. But it was a big. I don't know how big of a milestone you think that was for me.
Right.
Because this was the first time that I had planned on being somewhere outside, no shade, no cover,
and no escape.
Yeah, there's no.
You couldn't have got off somewhere and said, "I'm done."
No, so
I'll meet you later.
So this was huge because I hadn't done that, and the nerves around it was like, okay, and so I posted it on my Facebook group that I joined, and there was a lot of positive feedback on that. There was a couple people that were like, we did the same thing. As long as you're covered, get out there and enjoy life. You've got to live. And that was a couple of them that said, you got to live. Way to go. Gave me the high fives, all that, So, I mean, because this disease is there and the sun's trying to kill you, you still got to live your life. You can't be, the comfort zone with melanoma is to stay inside. Mm-hmm. And getting out and doing, this was a big deal for me.
Yeah. But, and I think a cool thing, and I don't know if you heard it, if you were paying attention, my friend's husband said, he saw you, here we are all in, they were in bathing suits. I had a sun shirt on. Our daughter had a sun shirt on. Mm-hmm. It did not help protect her legs. She needs sun pants too. because she just burns so quickly and so badly.
Yep.
Like, she didn't look red getting out yesterday.
Her big thing was when she got out and we got home, she got ready and left again to go swimming with our other daughter and her friends, and she got really burnt there.
But she was only burnt on the top of her legs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what was in the water. But the way she is, she will look great. And she put sunscreen on a couple times during the trip with
Yep.
us.
Yep.
But the way her body takes sun is she might look completely fine, and then she comes to bed or she wakes up from nap and you see her again, you're like, oh dear gosh, what happened to you?
Yep. She walked in the door last night and
we were like, oh no.
And I could see her glowing, and I was like, oh, cub.
Oh gosh. So we're gonna have to get her a pair of sun pants.
Yep.
Just for stuff like this. And I know it's not what she would like, but she understands the reasoning. But anyway, my friend's husband said, we got to do this later in the day for him. And so we're looking at possibly next time we do it in 2 weeks, instead of doing it early,
Mm-hmm.
doing it like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That way the sun's kind of going down a little. Maybe it's not the heat of the day.
Yeah, because we went out we met them at 11.
11:30.
So, 11:30 till almost 4. It was about 3 o'clock. You're out there. There's no shade. You're down there trying to prep to get ready to get into your float, get them pumped up, get them down to the river, get in line, because there was a lot of people floating.
Mm-hmm.
And then once everybody got in and we got everybody hooked up, and then you start going, you're just at the mercy of the current of the river.
It took us a while to get going, but once we got going, we got it.
And we had a couple paddles, so that way, the one in the middle, the big tube in the middle could kind of guide everybody else around. But, and I'm covered up. So, at one point, I could feel like I was just getting hot. I was getting overwhelmingly hot. But it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, midday.
Did you pull some water up on you?
No.
Well,
because I had all this stuff on me that I didn't want wet. So, I had my phone. It was in a wet bag.
My phone got drenched in the wet bag, but it was protected.
I had it in one of those wet bags, but I had it hanging around my neck, and then I had my keys and my wallet in Ziploc bags, so they were on me, on my belly, because I'm in a float. So
yeah, see, my body didn't get hot because I kept putting my arms in the water.
Yeah.
And my legs are in the water, and my butt was in the water, so I just kept bringing.
Yep, and I had a couple non-alcoholic beers, so that was good.
Yeah, you got a whole experience. I had alcoholic beers, well, not even beers.
Yeah, you had those seltzers.
I had a seltzer. Not typically my thing, that.
Yeah.
I'm typically not, but I thought I'm hydrating.
You like those
while I'm in the sun.
You like those when you're in the sun.
Yeah, I do like those a little bit more in the sun, because I feel like it's water. So I'm doing two things.
So it was. I don't want to say liberating, but it was nice that.
Was it a little freeing?
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
And to know the people around you are supportive.
Yes.
Of what you need, and watching to make sure you have the things you need and such.
And now that we've done it once, I know I can make a modification and add an umbrella, which is just taking time with a cup of coffee and a pen and paper and drawing it up and figuring it out.
We could get you a whole beach shade, and you can hook it over here and hook it over here and let it go behind you, and you could look like a dragon or something.
Oh yeah, I could. So I've seen where they take the 10 by 10 canopies and they make little floats for the legs, and they kind of tie them up.
We're not doing it.
And then you go down with the canopy.
No, we're not that redneck. You're not doing that, but we will figure out something.
Yep. So I got some things I can kind of work on with that. But I do have to get my wife her own bucket hat, and my daughter her own bucket hat, because they take my good ones, and I'm like, man, okay. And one of my good ones, my wife was wearing it.
Okay, here, leave.
And so we stopped, and half of us got out. All but two of us got out. And the other two, you and your friend, were like, "Oh, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going." Okay. So we get back to the cars, and her husband takes 2 kids and takes off, and then I take Cub home. We unload the car, and I go get you guys some dinner, and then I go to the meat point. Well, as I'm at the meat point, I see this group of people getting out. Well, they were parked right beside us when we were unflating and loading the car. They were inflating and heading down. So I'm like, how in the hell did they beat them to? Because they would have had a 15 to 20 minute head start. So confused on what's going on, and I'm just sitting here waiting. I'm waiting. So finally, I'm like, okay, this is crazy, because now not only did this group beat them here, they've deflated, rolled up everything, and got into a car. There was 5 of them, all of them with tubes, all of them deflated, all of them rolled their stuff up, got in the car, like a car came to pick them up, and then left. And I was like, okay, this is something's wrong. So I call. Of course, goes to voicemail. So I call the other one. Goes to voicemail. I'm like, all right, well, we'll just sit here. Well, then I get the message, hey, we missed our exit. We'll meet you down at the next one. Okay, where the hell's that at? So I'm on Google, and I figure out that it's 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, away, south. Okay. So I drive down there, and I'm waiting. And I get out, and I start walking some of the trail. And it's a spooky little area where this is at. So I'm walking this area.
It's still daylight. It's much daylight.
It's still daylight. Right now we're about 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon. And I get the message. And I mean, I'm walking this trail, and there's all kinds of weird noises and tree knocks and stuff like that. I'm like, what in the world is out here? But it was a nice area on the river. I enjoyed that. So I had a little walk, and I get the message, hey, we missed our exit. It's going to take us forever to float down to where you're at, so meet us here. We are here now. All right, so I mapped that back. Wouldn't you know, it's right next to where I was at the first time. So I drive over there, and her husband's there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is going on? Because they take me down this, I go back into this like cul-de-sac, but there's no outlet. So I'm like, where in the hell? There's not even a boat ramp here. Like, what in the world? Well, then this car backs out, and I'm like, well, I just dropped them off at that car, so what the hell? So then you come over, and you're, here's where the Naked and Afraid reruns that we're watching, because we're rewatching some seasons that we hadn't, I'd say rewatching. We're watching seasons that we didn't know were out. So we found them on HBO Max, and we're rewatching it. So here's the non-Naked and Afraid.
I was going to say, we are non-naked.
Yeah, swimsuit and afraid.
And we weren't afraid. We were cautious.
Okay. So anyway,
here's the deal.
Here's their dramatic extraction.
It was an extraction. So we're floating, and we're talking, and we're floating, and we're talking. And we had gauged how long it was going to take. It should have taken about 2 hours to get from where we dropped you off to where the next meet point was.
Right.
Okay. So it hadn't been 2 hours. And we said, we need to look and see where this is. And we turned our head. And as we turned our head to the right, we're like, oh, crap. It's right there. The issue is it's going the wrong way. So we couldn't even it's not like you could pull up to it squarely. It was cut at an angle.
And you guys were on the left side of the river.
We were
the exit's on the right.
We were more in the middle of the river. And so we tried really hard to pull ourselves back to the ramp. We're not making any headway. We're not moving. We can't do anything. So we had to make a decision. Are we going to eat the bug, or is the bug going to eat us, right?
Okay.
So we said, we can't make that. We're going to have to go to the next one.
Okay.
We said, okay. Well, then we're looking, and it's going to be a while. So we see these other people, and we said, hey, he goes, we missed it too. We didn't even see it. And they're deciding that they're going to walk up the side of this bank. Well, she saw like a big freaking snake. We didn't walk on that bank. We're not stupid.
Yep.
Again, non-stupid people.
Right.
We weren't scared. We just knew what we were not doing. But for a minute, we thought, what if because we're strong, we can do this. Let's grab a hold of things and try to see if we can pull ourselves back along the shoreline back to the ramp. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you see people do when they're floating down the river. They grab something, they hold on to it until they can grab something else to hold on to get back to where they're going to go.
Okay.
Using our survival skills. So we're pulling on trees.
See, now all these like Discovery Channel and History Channel shows that I watch, they do come in handy.
Uh-huh. But we're pulling on trees, and all I kept thinking was, please, dear God, do not be poison nothing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recognize it.
Right.
So please just don't be poisonous. So we probably pulled ourselves against the current, I don't know, 30 feet, 40 feet, I don't know, far. And we couldn't get to the one place. We're pedaling and I'm pulling and I can't reach anything else. And she said, we can't do it. We're going to have to go to the next one. Okay. All right. So we cut our loss. And about that time, we're looking at each other like, oh, shit. This is bad, right? Like, this is kind of bad. And then I said, duck! And the tree branches came over our heads and it ripped your hat right off of my head. And because we were holding everything and trying everything, we couldn't grab it. We tried using the paddle, our hands, we couldn't get it. And I said, it's going to just have to go.
Yeah.
So we decide we're floating down. We're going to float down to the next place. A rock, we get a rock, it gets up underneath us, it carries us back again, but not back where we need to go. And the current's going, we can't get off the rock. The rock's like underneath us, like I'm sitting on the rock under our float. And then the rock goes away, and then we go forward. Well, when you called, she had pulled up the phone to see, okay, how far are we right now from the next place? And then these people came by and they said, the next one's about 2.5, 3 hours away. And we went, oh, okay, what should we do? We see a dock. That's right, we see a dock because we see things. We see this dock. Yes, the dock says private property, no trespassing. We don't have a choice. We can float 3 hours, or we can just piss off some really, hopefully, nice people.
You're hoping there's no landmines or anything at this
I was
dock?
hoping nobody was shooting. That's what I was really hoping. I go all the way to the dark side. I'm hoping that nobody's trying to shoot our asses.
Get off my lawn!
Yes, exactly. And we could see it on a map. Like, she could see the dirt road. It's like a dirt and a gravel road, and it kind of zigzagged a little bit. Then there was a big turn, and then it went straight. She could see it. And she could see it went to a main street because it had a name.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't smart enough in the beginning to give you guys anything extra from the cooler.
Yeah.
So we still had everything. So we had bags. We had all the beverages and all the snacks. And, like, the raft. So we get out. We decide we're walking up this gravel dirt road thing. And we're just going to pray. So we're walking up. And I kept going, I'm really sorry. We don't mean to trespass. We just lost our place.
And I'm sure the guy was like getting ready to cock a shotgun, and he was like, oh, they said they're sorry.
Right. So we carried this wet raft, which you helped carry the kayak, and it's heavier with the water.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh dear gosh. So then my friend, who is 6 foot tall, says, we should put it on our heads. Okay. So we took the bags that we had, we put them on like backpacks, like one arm, so it was even distribution. We lifted the raft up on our head, and we carried through this road, and then we saw the end. It's right here. We saw it. It was a gate. And I'm like, oh, man. Because, like, how sucky is that? Like, we get all the way up there carrying this stupid raft, and we're gated in, and we can't go anywhere.
Yeah, kind of like one of those panel gates.
Yeah. There was an opening on the right side. So we, all of our stuff out there, went back, got the raft, took the raft out. We waited a couple minutes, laughing our tails off because of the crap we can get each other into, right?
Yes.
And we weren't mad. We weren't grumpy. We weren't angry.
Oh, it's just the adventure that you didn't plan on.
It was the adventure that we didn't plan on, which kind of describes our last 2 years. The adventure we didn't plan on.
Yes.
And then, her husband came and started to get stuff, and then you came and you gave us food. And I'm gonna say
the look on both your faces while you were getting out of their car to walk into ours or walk over to ours, I handed a Diet Coke over to him so he could give it to her because of the way we were sitting, and because we were driver's side to driver's side.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I got you this, and because I didn't plan on him being there, so gives her a Diet Coke, and she was like, oh wow. And then I hand over a bag that had fries and a cheeseburger, and I think she had half the burger gone before you got buckled in.
Maybe. I mean, all we had were chips and drinks.
And that's why I stopped and got a little something, and I mean, she was like, oh wow, and started like, you think about these people at the end of Naked and Afraid, the first time they're having a cheeseburger, they're like, oh no. That was kind of it.
We were so happy.
Yeah.
Like, I think I smiled all night thinking about our excursion. One, you've got to go on it. Her and I got to do this grand adventure that we didn't plan on. And that part of our life had been kind of sidetracked. COVID hit, because we used to do spring break trips together with all the kids and the stuff. So that hit. And then, your cancer set us back on some things. Understandably. It's whatever. But they've been around for all of that. And so to be able to share in this trip, they enjoyed that.
Yeah. And
it was a little bit of giddiness that her and I get when we do something fun. No, we didn't plan it that night. And later that night, like I told you, as I'm eating, I said, now I get it, like why they're so happy to eat when they get home. Like, we could have been floating down the river forever. Let's just go with this. We could have just floated forever. I'm not even sure where this river ends. But I got home and I texted her and I said, I'm so glad to have gone on the adventure we never knew we needed. Yeah. I'm so glad I got lost with you. And she said, I was going to tell you the same thing. I'm glad we got lost together.
Yeah, and I wasn't like, you would think, you're sitting here waiting 30 minutes, then you get the text, hey, go to this location. You get down there, and it's like 20 minutes away, so you get down there, you're there for about 15, 20 minutes, and then you get the, no, come back to where you was. And you're like, gosh, dang, man. So I get back in the car, and I drive over there, and I'm 5 minutes away. Like GPS.
Okay, please remember I didn't know this.
GPS is telling me I'm 5 minutes away. And she goes, well, hey, we're here. Why don't you just meet us over here? And I was like, no. And she didn't have her hearing aids in. So
No.
she couldn't hear what I was saying anyway. And I was like, no, I'm almost there. And she's like, no, just meet us over here. And I was like, and I had to yell at her, no, I am 3 minutes away. Stop.
And
Just don't move.
I said, oh, okay.
And she was like, wait, you're 3 minutes away? I was like, yes. Don't move.
Well, I don't think water in my hearing aids would have been a good thing.
No,
so...
but it was that was the only time I kind of was like, don't move. Stop.
And he pulls up, and her and I are like giggles.
Yeah, yeah. So it was all good.
We're laughing, but it was just.
That's what made this part of it was what kind of pushed everything over the top. Like it's a nice, memorable adventure.
Yeah.
And
we decided we're not ready to go any further past the first landing until we learn the river a little better.
Yeah, and what was great was like, yes, I was tired because you're just there relaxing. There's nothing you
hadn't been not just in the sun, but you hadn't been in the heat that long.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been in a situation where you couldn't escape and go and lay down.
Yep.
You haven't been in that from 11 until 4 till 5.
Out in the heat, in the sun.
But on the go.
Yeah. And so
we've worked you around a few hours here and there, and then there's a rest time or a sitting time or whatever time.
There's always a timeout somewhere.
Yeah, and I didn't have a good time out.
And the only timeout that I had this time was sitting in the air conditioning driving.
Right.
Which, fortunately, was little bits at a time because I wouldn't have been able to do like an hour and a half drive down the river to get you.
Right.
But no, it was good. It was good. It was, and it definitely, it was definitely freeing to know that the money we spent in the gear, like sun protection for me, works.
Yeah, and you fought me over that sun protection.
Because I'm not one to spoil myself in that way. Like,
no, you spoil yourself with a lot of other things, but not in clothing.
Yeah, clothing is not one thing that I've ever spoiled myself in, and it's a big step to do that. And
well, and you still believe that pants and shirts cost what they cost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so when I'm like, nope, these pants, don't look at the price tag. Like, I remember when I bought them because you finally agreed to get some. And I said, you just walk away. Just let me pay for it. Just walk away. Because if you would have known what I paid, you would not have been happy.
No.
And it would have bothered you thinking that
but now that
I chose something, like I used house money to afford something for you. But like do you remember what I told you when I did it?
Just shut up and walk away.
I said that. This? I said, you said, these are so expensive. And I said, I'm sorry, cancer's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And if this is what we need to do to protect you, to prolong things or to push things off or to not encourage it to come back, this is a whole lot cheaper than all of that.
And now that I got 2 pairs, and I really enjoy them. I do.
You wear them all the time.
I do. I enjoy them. And
you have 3 pairs. You have blue, black, and khakis.
The khakis are a different style,
but they're still sun pants.
Yeah. But I wear them all the time. I love them. So I highly recommend those. And they're comfortable. They're kind of...
We can drop the name. It starts with a C. It's an outwear brand. Ends in an A.
Yeah. They have
blue and white.
They have an outlet store in... what's that place?
Charlotte.
Yeah.
The Premier Outlet's the only place I can actually afford to buy these pants. Let's just go there. And if they would like to sponsor us, by all means, please just give us a shout out.
Yeah.
You know who we're talking to.
But we did find some sun shirts at Sam's Club.
Yeah, like your son's shirts are easier to find.
Yeah.
And I did see Academy has sun pants.
Ooh.
And their store brand, they have some. They're not near as
lightweight
and soft as the ones you like. But to get a pair like for when you're going fishing,
yeah,
I could get that brand because they would have pockets and the doodads and the stuff, and you don't need like a uber soft pair for fishing or for mowing the lawn or things like that. Yeah. But like for daily wear, I know you like the softer ones.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
And they're stylish.
They are stylish. They're a little skinny leg because you got skinny legs and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not meant to be skinny legs. They just are. They're like a straight
leg.
Yeah. But, so I'm going to have to invest in some more.
Yeah, at some point. Because I went through my...
But I think we are going to have to get the youngest cub one. A pair of pants.
Yep.
Just for... when she does want to do this. I don't think she's going to be signing up for the next one. I don't think
she was when she gets hot, she's done. She shuts down.
Yeah.
And that she did.
Well, and I bet you, I wonder how much was, I'm going to get burnt.
Yeah, because she's very fair-skinned, and, we got to think about, she thinks about that a lot more because she's been with me through this whole journey. So she understands it as well as any of us do. But, so that was our floating trip. So now we got tomorrow morning. We got to get up early and
very early.
We have MRI
and then your noggin.
Yep. So the MRI to, and then it'll go down the chest and all that stuff and verify that the CT was right. Do blood work and.
We get to visit your dermatologist
and oncology. So
I get a little day off.
Yep. So it'll be a busy day.
Busy morning. Absolutely.
So the anxiety's not really real high because
I'm
the
feeling
CT
good because the CT ruled out everything below the neck.
Yep.
I always get worried about your brain. I just do, and I'll worry about it until.
Well, and I've noticed that the last 4 or 5 days has been clearer thinking. So I don't know if that's good or bad.
We'll find out in less than 12 hours.
Yeah. So
I love going back to the oncologist's office, and that sounds so stupid to be like, I love going to the oncologist. Well, I think they saw us at weakest moments.
We saw them.
They raised us up through all of that.
We saw them in so much, so often. And for lack of a better term, we kind of befriended them. Or they befriended us.
Yeah. I've said from day one that your oncologist, he's a serious guy. Yeah. But he's a funny guy.
And he can tell by the look in my eye and the blank look on my face, and I'm not following what he's saying.
Or he can say, okay, now you tell me, what's he really doing?
Yep.
We get to see our favorite nurses. Check in on them. Make sure everything's good with them. I've told you that I want to get them cookies, like from the lady who makes us cookies in Ohio. But I have to time it just right because I have to know when we're going to have the appointment to know when I need to order them to get them shipped. Like, it would be perfect if somebody was coming here to bring them, so I knew they wouldn't be broken.
Well, maybe next time.
But I'm thinking definitely, if nothing else, for the December visit, because that's 1 year.
Yeah.
That would be 1 year surveillance. So I'm thinking that I might have to spoil some nurses right about then.
That might be a good time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So.
And I might have a way to get them here that day.
Well.
So, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, we started this to talk about cancer and our journey. And although it sounds sometimes like we get off topic, it's still very much our journey through cancer. I mean, it's the way we change how we think and how we see things and what we do.
Well, and
how we interact.
And that's what it is.
We're talking about.
It is our journey through this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else's journey is different, and I'm a warrior, and you're a warrior, and a different battle.
Yeah.
The same cause, different battle.
Let's take advantage of when we don't have to fight so damn hard,
and
and have a little fun and light. And
from what I've had some feedback coming about the YouTube side, where I'm posting more like little daily videos of stuff that I'm doing, kind of showing that I'm not just sitting back and letting life pass me by, that I'm still in this fight, and I'm still doing things that you wouldn't normally think about a cancer survivor doing, or you wouldn't even think that, oh, they had it, now they're non-detected, so life's back to normal.
Yeah, it's not normal.
There's no normal. And doing those, and I've had a lot of feedback that somebody's taken something out of each little thing, and they're getting inspired.
Yeah.
And and that's there was somebody that actually said, "I'm not alone in this, then, huh?" I'm like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, I mean,
this stuff can take everything from you and turn it inside out.
What? I think people who don't look at it on the light side, it does.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that every day is up and that I don't have those moments where I'm just mad.
Yeah.
Because I do. It's robbed us of a lot.
Yeah.
It's also given a lot. And you can't look at only the bad or only the good.
If I focus on all the bad, I'll miss the good that's coming in.
Right. Right. So, this is how we choose. And, the last few weeks have been a lot more lighthearted because we're living life right now in a light area.
Yeah.
This is a light place in this journey for us. This is a light place. It doesn't mean it will always be light. It doesn't mean that it will stay light. It doesn't mean next week we can come back and just be pissed off. It just means the last few weeks have been light.
Well, and next week is actually...
It's 4th of July.
Kind of a bittersweet. And I say that because 2021, we went back for 4th of July weekend. Mm-hmm. And my family, since I was little, have always put on a big party. And it's like all these community families would get together, and it's just a big shindig, fireworks, all that.
Fireworks, food, fun, friendship, laughter.
There's a pond, and we would all go swimming.
We just count the kids' heads. There's 15 in there. I don't know what 15.
Yeah, and
there's 12.
So for as long as I can remember, this has gone on, and it was also that year tied to a celebration of life for one of my cousins, and that was the main draw for going back. Mm-hmm. And that was before all the diagnosis stuff came in.
Yeah, we knew something was wrong. And we were having it like 2 days after we got back. You had the MRI.
Yep.
Or the ultrasound. I'm sorry. You had the ultrasound that told us this is not.
And then a couple weeks later, that's when I was in the ER and where we found out everything. So it's kind of bittersweet because we're going to go back. We're going to see my grandma, who's in her 90s. We're going to see my godson and my family and a lot of family.
And, we went home
and
the first Thanksgiving. Yeah. I thought it was important to take you home, so you went home. we went home at graduation. But it doesn't mean that all the people that we like to talk to and like to see were at either one of those events.
Well,
and there's a lot of people will be at this event.
We're going to see a lot of family and a lot of friends.
Yeah. Who supported the whole journey.
The part of it that's the bitter is because this was the last trip before the cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say normalcy because there was something going on. I thought I had results of concussions because concussion protocol was all the talk. And I've knocked myself out more times than I can count or remember to count. But so we knew something was going on, but we didn't know what it was.
Yeah, we knew it was serious, but we didn't know how serious, and we didn't know what the journey we were going to be on very soon looked like.
So that's the part that's kind of bitter.
And it's about this time, I wrote a message. Like, because we worked different shifts. Yeah. And we were in different, I was awake during the day, you were awake all night.
I worked night shift most of our marriage.
So there were times I would just take lipstick and write you a message in the mirror, and that was that. And I wrote this message, and I was like, yeah, we're going to have such a great week.
Mm-hmm. And we did.
And we did. And then we got home, and everything started getting crazy. That message is still in the mirror. I can't erase it.
Yep.
I can't. It's the last normal thing that I left.
Yep.
And so, like, my sister came in, recently, and she's like, well, let's go in your bathroom and get ready, like hair and makeup, because the kids were in the other bathroom. And I said, oh, yeah, that's still up there. And she just laughed. She's like, you can't take it down. I said, I can't take it down. So I'm like, never, ever, ever did I think that what I asked for, which was spending time with you,
would lead to this.
Maybe I need to like change and put parameters. I really want to spend the next 7 days with you.
Well, don't put parameters on it, baby. Because
maybe no, I shouldn't put parameters. I don't know.
No, don't put parameters on it.
No,
ask and you shall receive. Come on now.
I'm not ready for all that. I need at least another 40 years. So.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so next week, we'll have an update.
Yeah, we'll have an update.
So
it might be a quick one, just because of being with family,
being where we're at, but
we'll see.
Yeah. But you all have a great week, and
do something different.
Get outside that comfort zone. Push your limits, push your boundaries.
Safely.
Yep.
Sunscreen.
Yep. And, if it doesn't make you nervous, then it's not the right thing.
Reevaluate what you're doing.
Yeah. Because nerves and anxiety is an indication that it's something you should be doing. And,
anxiety, did you know anxiety and nausea feel the same way in your stomach? It's like when you feel like, oh gosh, I don't feel good. Maybe this isn't right. My stomach's acting weird. You could be anxious or excited, or you could be nauseated. Like it's the same physiological feeling. So, when people are like, oh, I was so sick to my stomach, it made me so nervous, I didn't want to do it. Or was it, I was so excited to do it. No, I was so excited to do it, and it made me a little nervous because I was so excited and happy to do it.
Oh, okay,
that feeling's the same inside your body.
Excited, nervous, or anxious, nervous. Gotcha.
Yeah, a happy nervous or a sad nervous.
Okay.
They feel the same way in your tummy.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, physiological.
Okay. So, and remember, not every day is a good day, but every day
there's good in every day. You're messing it up, man.
It's one of my favorite quotes right now, and I keep getting it
I know.
tongue-tied. So,
All right. Well, it's time to get off here.
Yep. Y'all have a great week. We will talk to you all next week.
Bye.
Have a great one.